How's it going, everybody? This is the Stimulus Check Hub here to give you your daily stimulus check and unemployment benefits updates and latest information. If you are new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. A like and a comment are always appreciated. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your friends and family, because I'm sure they would also like the most up-to-date information on their stimulus checks and unemployment benefits available anywhere on YouTube, which is what I try to provide here on this channel.
All across the country right now, just like we've been talking about in recent videos over the last probably year now, we've been talking about all of these monthly check programs that have been floating around out there. These are the checks that are typically sent out on a state by state, county by county, or city by city level. However, we do also understand at the same time the federal government has a lot of money sitting on the sidelines right now that has not been sent out yet as a result of previous stimulus packages. Well, in Congress right now, there are a number of different lawmakers who are currently working on trying to reinstate monthly checks. However, there's also been discussion about potentially even adding adults to get monthly checks or advanced payments. So I do want to talk about this a little bit further and discuss why this is actually a pretty good idea to send out these payments specifically focused on the low income. Now, yes, because I do know that there are a lot of you in this community that do receive fixed income benefits like Social Security, retirement, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, RRB, low income, and no income. So even all of these individuals, yes, would be included in this type of payment. Now again, just want to let you know that because I'm probably guessing there would be some comments down below asking that. I just want to lay that out for you right away. However, as we've discussed previously here, over the last couple months here, we've seen some reports coming out that apparently they still have about $800 billion sitting on the books from previous stimulus packages. That is a ton of money, by the way. Just to put it into perspective, you might be wondering, okay, like what can you really get for $800 billion? Well, virtually anything. Let's put it that way, right? But basically what it comes down to is this. The three stimulus checks that everybody received in 2020 and 2021, right? The $1,200, the $600, and the $1,400. All of those checks together added up to $844 billion. So basically, it'd be enough to send out all of those checks pretty much once again to all the people that receive them. My point is, it is a lot of money still sitting there. So these are what the reports are saying. Now, it could be a little bit more, it could be a little bit less, but generally, these are what the reports are saying is $800 billion still sitting there that has not been spent from the previous stimulus packages. However, let's talk about this in a little bit more detail and what it would actually shake out to be. Now remember, this money has already been approved. It has not been, it's not awaiting approval. It does not need any congressional action, nothing like this. It has already been approved in previous stimulus packages. So what they're telling us, according to these reports, is it's literally just sitting there waiting to go out. It's waiting for a home or a pocket to go into. Well, I know about, 343,000 pockets it could go into right now. In other words, all of us right here on the channel, right? So anyway, I'm just saying, it could certainly come into our pockets. We'd be happy to receive it, right? I think all of us would be very glad to take that. But anyway, let's kind of dig through this a little bit more here and talk about all the details on this. So we do know that there is support out in Congress right now to reinstate, yes, I'm going to say it, but just stick with me for a minute because I'm going to use it as a reference point. There's a lot of talk right now in Congress to reinstate immediately the child tax credit payments. Now, I'm not going to talk about that, all about child tax credit payments in this video, but rather I do want to use it as a reference point because Congress is so stuck on restarting these payments for these 36 to 38 million families. By the way, those payments that were going out in the second half of 2021 were going out at about a rate of $16 billion every single month. That's just under $200 billion over the course of the entire year with these payments. So it's about $192 billion throughout the course of the entire year. My point is exactly this. Here's the deal. As of right now, we know that there's about 50 million lower income individuals who maybe do not qualify for the child tax credit payments, right? So about 50 million low income, and this may include seniors, people with disabilities, elderly, Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, RRB. It can include anybody, or maybe not even any of those beneficiaries, but rather just low income individuals. My point is, there's about 50 million people right now who fall into those categories, as in low income, who could really use some ongoing monthly checks. Now let's lay the numbers out here. Remember those numbers I just gave you as far as the child tax credit payments? Those were going out to about 36 to 38 million families. However, the average payment was a little bit over $400 every single month. Again, just averaged out because it was different for everybody based on the number of kids. However, let's talk about this on an adult level now. Adult being if it happened to go out for adults. I'm not saying like this is adult rated now. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying let's talk about it if they were going out to adults rather than for kids, right? The child tax credit payment. So that's what I mean by that, just to clarify. Anyway, so let's just say that these 50 million individuals were to get these monthly checks ongoing. How much do you think it'd really cost? Let's put it this way. If they were to send out a $250 ongoing payment for 50 million beneficiaries, it would cost $12.5 billion each and every month. Well, that's quite a bit less. That's $3.5 billion less each and every month than what they were already spending on the child tax credit payments, right? Okay, well, very interesting. Let's look at it on an annualized basis now. $12.5 billion, which would actually include a $250 ongoing monthly check for all of these 50 million beneficiaries or the low income, whoever would fall into this category of being low income receiving these payments. It'd be $12.5 billion every single month. But over the course of the entire year, it would be $150 billion to send everybody, 50 million people, a $250 ongoing check who falls into the category of low income. Over the course of an entire year, $150 billion. Whereas they want to restart the child tax credit payments, and those would be going out at a rate of $16 billion every single month, out for an annualized number of $192 billion. So, my point is, a $250 check on an ongoing basis for 50 million lower income individuals would actually be about $42 billion less on an annualized basis to help out a ton of people right now. I don't know, seems like a no-brainer to me, especially when they have $800 billion still sitting there on the books, and they could peel off $150 for the low-income, seniors, elderly, people with disabilities, fixed-income beneficiaries. They could peel that $150 off, send it out, and if they wanted to, they could reinstate the child tax credit payments even, peel off another $192, and at the end of the day, they're into it for what? Less than $500 billion? You know what I mean? It's not even that much money. What is that even? It's like $450. It's like $450 billion. Not even. $440 billion is what it would really take, right? Not even that. What am I doing? Yeah, it's like $350. Sorry, I did the math wrong. It's like $350 billion. It's not even that much money, right? And considering they have $500 billion still sitting there. So, my point is, it'd be super easy for them to do this. And yes, right now there is talk in Congress. There are a few different lawmakers out there right now who are trying to reinstate those monthly checks. So we can only hope that they will also translate this into monthly checks for the low income and adults as well, right? Maybe people who do not qualify for the child tax credit payments. A couple other things really quickly here. Number one, first off, this money has already been approved, right? We don't need that congressional action. Number two, there's a lot of people out there who say this is going to lead to more inflation. Well, would it really though? Because here's the deal. We're getting into a situation now where the economy may not be doing so hot going forward, right? Considering everything going on out there right now. So even if they were to send these payments out on a much smaller scale to, half or a third of the number of people that were sent out these stimulus checks, it wouldn't really cause a massive amount of inflation like a lot of people are claiming that it would, right? Because here's the deal. The money's going to flow right back into the economy anyway, regardless of how they spend it. They're going to spend it on something. Why not give it to the people instead of pushing it into who knows what kind of programs, right? So it's going to be spent in some way, shape, or form. So the point is, why not just give it to the people rather than pushing it out in some weird method or whatever they decide, some other form in whatever they decide. So that's something else too. So it really wouldn't lead to a ton of inflation like people are actually talking about that it would. Also, considering going forward, if we do see the economy slow down, it probably would be pretty nice, and it'd probably help out the economy quite a bit if it got a little influx of an extra $12.5 billion every single month on top of just regular spending, just to help it out a little bit more, right? It would be a little bit of extra stimulus going into that economy each and every month. So, Anyway, I feel like the case is pretty clear. The case is pretty obvious for why sending out these monthly checks, even including adults, would be a really, really good thing and very beneficial in a number of different ways. Number one, it'd help out a lot of low-income and fixed-income individuals. Number two, obviously, it would also help stimulate the economy too. There's a lot of good things about it, so it'd be like, a twofold effect. Help out a lot of people and get things going out in the economy, and ultimately, it wouldn't even lead to a ton of inflation. I mean, here's the deal. Is it really going to lead to that much more inflation considering we're going up like 0.5% year over year in inflation every single time we get the report every month? I mean, is it really going to add a ton more inflation? Probably not, realistically, right? So anyway, just some interesting thoughts here, some things that are being discussed out there, just some different concepts and things that are going on based on the amount of money that is floating around out there, or maybe not even so much floating, but more like just sitting there waiting to go out and be spent on something important.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. A like and a comment are always appreciated. Also, if you wouldn't mind sharing this with your friends and family, because I'm sure they would also like the most up-to-date information on their stimulus checks and unemployment benefits available anywhere on YouTube. Have a good one.